In today's world, when we look at a website, we don't just look at it on our desktop, which is what we've been creating so far. This website can be on a tablet, it might be on a phone, and every phone and tablet has different widths. And so we need to start thinking about creating our page so that it responds or is flexible to different what we call viewport sizes. So a viewport size is the distance between edge to edge in which our web page is being displayed. So viewport sizes. And let me just share with this OTC website. I'm in a desktop view, and currently I can see that there's a menu across the top. There's a couple of buttons that are showing up here. If I look down here, I can see a paragraph, and to the right of that paragraph is this form. And then if I scroll down, I see 3 different cards and so forth. And so what I want to share with you is let's take the edge of this window, and I'm going to shrink it down in size. And when I shrink it to this size, this viewport size, then what we'll see is we saw our menu disappear to start with, because now it has this little toggle button. Well, we're not going to do the hamburger in this class. That will be more of a JavaScript thing. But for the moment, what we're seeing is that we're seeing content actually disappear because it's trying to make room or be less cluttered in a smaller viewport size. And so I'm going to go a little bit smaller and see if anything else happens. And so when I get to this viewport size, we actually saw a button disappear. So now content is disappearing. We have, I think we already did that. Not only did our navigation go from horizontal, now it's vertical. We have this paragraph is now stacked vertically on top of our form, and the form is now taking up 100% of this viewport width, as same as the paragraph when before they were taking up 50% each. And if I look farther down, these cards are now quite large now. They're taking up more width than they did before, and they're stacking on top of each other. So all of these things are happening because the developer made that intentional choice to make this page what we call responsive, change its layout depending on the width of this viewport. So in W3 Schools, I'm going to show a quick example of what we're going to be working on. So in this example, we have an embedded style. Very good, very good. And it says that we have, initially it says body background color pink. Well, clearly this background color is not pink at the moment with this viewport width I have open. And let's look here at this next section. This next section says at media and screen and. So in our examples, we're not going to have screen and. We're going to take screen and out. And all that means is if it was for a screen versus if I was printing it, by taking it out, I'm covering both. So if my web page is on the screen, or if my web page is being printed out, and the minimum width of my viewport is 480 pixels or wider, then you'll see these open and close curly brace. So everything that goes inside the open and closed curly brace are the things that are going to change or be affected at that media query size. So in other words, if the viewport is 480 pixels or wider, which it is, we see right here that this is 570 pixels, so it's definitely wider than 480, then our body background color is going to be light green. So that would lend itself to say, you mean if it's below 480, that background color should change to pink. And we can see that it does. So I'm going to add another media query on just for conversation. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it down below. And we're going to change it, and this time I'm going to say 980, and this time we'll change it to purple. And so, spell purple correct. Now let's see if it works. So I'm going to hit run, and I'm going to see if, okay, so I'm at the default, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. When we get larger, 480 or larger, yes, it turns green. And then if we get to 980 or larger, it should turn to purple. So let's see if that works. 980, there we go. So once I hit 980, then it changed to purple. Now some of the important takeaways is, let's do this. My body, I'm going to put color orange, just so it'll stand out. I'm going to go ahead and run this again. So what I want you to see, I know it looks awful, but here's what I want you to take away from this part. So when we create these styles, first of all, we create our default styles. So no matter what, this is our starting point or our default. And then when we create our media queries, we're going to create them in ascending order of size. So this is what I would want my mobile viewport size to be. And then as I got larger, and notice I intentionally got larger, 480, my next media query is 980. As I got larger, I added only the things that are going to change. So if we make our page, I'm going to go ahead and run this. If we make our page 480 pixels, you'll see that the color is still orange because that is our default. We didn't change it here in the media query, so it's going to remain the same throughout all of our viewport sizes. And that's important because we don't want to keep replicating unnecessary code. In other words, this wouldn't make sense because it's already inheriting, if you will, that color from the prior setting. So we only put into our media queries the things that we're changing or the things that we're adding or subtracting with our media query. And the last takeaway I want to add to this is the fact that order matters. So again, I'm starting off small and I'm going larger and I'm going larger. We call this mobile first, meaning that just that. I'm starting off in the smallest viewport size, and in order, in ascending order, I'll add the next media query and I'll add the next media query. We don't want to add more default base styles at the bottom, and I'll have a video to show you why later. So it's always going to be in this order. All of our base styles, ascending order of our media queries, and only the things inside the open and closed curly braces that we want to change are going to be inside a media query. Otherwise, it'll inherit from the style before it.